Starts Philippians 3 with a very humble brag, and he is good at it. He runs through all of his credentials, and they are impressive. You know, he lists them off. Everything about his life as the Pharisee, as the person who knew and lived and enforced the law. And he says, as to righteousness, blameless. Wow. I think he lost the humble part of the humble brag at that point. Blameless. You know, and they know Paul's story. They can't argue with that. He just wants to remind them, which he does a lot in his writings to the churches. Don't forget, I kind of know what I'm talking about here, and I'm setting you up with that background information. And then he throws that curveball that is hard for us. He says, and all of that is now garbage, refuse. It's of no value whatsoever. I am not that guy, and I don't have that to brag about. Paul reminds them again that his whole life story is about heading in one direction that he thought was absolutely what God wanted him to do, and then discovering, getting knocked on the ground, getting blinded by the realization that's not what it is. That's not what God's plan is. And it changes his whole life. He understands that. That is a part of life's journey that will probably happen to all of us. None of us get spared from those changes in direction, from those moments where everything we thought was right and heading this way gets redefined, or someone else takes it away, or it is gone. Change in job, a change in relationships, a change in the very thing we thought was best for us. We now see it's totally not going to be the thing at all. Paul says he realized it, that high ascended hope of his religious practices, they were not what was pleasing to God. And he's left with this sense of what's next. And he gives his own answer. And I imagine this was a long struggle for him to come to this awareness. He says, I press on toward the goal of the upward call of Jesus Christ. I press on. In fact, he gives it in a more substantial sense there, forgetting what lies behind, straining forward to what lies ahead. I press on toward the goal of the prize of the heavenly call of God in Christ Jesus. He's giving them a metaphor that's obvious to them when he gives it, of a race, the race that he's in. And yes, they ran races, we know, back in Paul's time, and that kind of athletic activity was, he thought, a good example of what it means to really be focused on what's ahead. If you're running a race, long distance or short, you can't be in the middle of the race and start thinking about your checking account. You can't get in the middle of the race and say, did I lock the door? Did I turn off the car? Did I say this to someone else? No, you have to put your focus on the activity you are in the middle of it. You're competing, and you must stay focused in that competition. So he uses that as the sports metaphor that's powerful and they can relate to. You can't be moving in that direction and have all these other things swirling around. He says, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward, I press on. Forgetting what lies behind is hard to do. There's something about us that gets triggered, right, on all of those tough things that have hit us in life. Those things that are painful, tragic, loss. Things changed, relationships ended. We all have our list. And it doesn't serve us well to keep chewing on them, to keep letting those be the things that we spend our time and energy working on. Those are not the things that will allow us to really move forward to God's purpose for us. Forgetting what lies behind. Not easy at all. With the sports mentality of the metaphor of running, we know now that sports psychology is widely used by coaches and widely received by the best of athletes because it helps them in their performance. You've got to put it behind you. If I'm playing basketball and I miss my first shot, I'm not taking any more shots for a good while. I'm going to pass it. I'm going to put myself on the bench. I'm going to do something else. But the best athletes, they have the ability. It's like, that's okay. I'm going to make the next one. I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. They are ready to keep moving forward. And that is the real key to victory. Put it behind you. And don't dwell on the thing that just went wrong, because that's not going to help you with what you need to do now. Been thinking a lot about our pastor who's facing a big loss today. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. But it's kind of funny. He's deeply invested in the success of his Duke basketball team. Their personalities were welded together over this season of greatness, and there was no doubt. He announced it to me, and I think to all of you, Duke was going to win, and now they didn't win. We're still laughing. We want to capture that in the sermon. He's got to put it behind him, right? We can't let that be the thing that spoils all the rest of what's going to happen. Today, tomorrow, the days to come, there will be more Duke basketball. God knows that. Got to put it behind you. If you don't like sports metaphors, how about Buddhism? The Buddha said there is the second arrow. If you heard of the second arrow, this is a widely known thing. You get hit by an arrow, let's say in the back of your leg, that's going to hurt. It's going to be a problem. And it may not kill you that you've been hit by an arrow in your leg, but the second arrow could be even worse. The second arrow, Buddha said, was all the worry and concern and all of the overarching emotions and problems that you come up with in your own mind. Oh, the arrow, that is it. I'm done. That's going to be the end. I won't be able to do these things, and it's going to redefine everything. It's all over. He said, correctly so, that second arrow could be way, way more impactful on your life. When something bad happens, and it will, there are bad things. There is loss. There are things that will not go well for you. To react and overreact to them, to let them be the thing that then you carry with you, that will be perhaps even worse. If you don't like sports metaphors, you don't like Buddhism, let's go with Taylor Swift. Shake it off, shake it off. Tammy liked that one, see? We got to Tammy's part. The singing's really good today, too. Not every week, but. Yeah. Paul understood that you have to not dwell in the past, not let that be the thing that changed everything. That will never be what serves you best. And then he gives that sense of what really is most important. Forgetting what lies behind, straining forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal of the prize of the heavenly call of God in Christ Jesus. He said earlier, I want to know Christ and him crucified so that I may know the resurrection. That is foreign to our ears. We have a hard time with that idea. You want to know Christ and the cross. We don't know what to think about that. Paul came to that profound sense that that is the journey, that we are with Christ, we follow Christ. He is heading to the cross intentionally, not out of some sense of martyrdom, not out of some sense of a death wish, not because he's dysfunctionally obsessed with that, but because he understands that that is the path that life gives us. That's it. And it is hard for us to understand that. In John chapter 12 that Eric explained to us, the disciples are so clueless. They are not getting it, right? It's coming down. He's on his way. He's heading to Jerusalem, and he's trying to teach them, and they're not quite tuned in to exactly how this is playing out. He's patient, though. He doesn't seem to get too frustrated. But they're not going to get it. But they keep following. They keep going with him on that path that leads all the way to Jerusalem, all the way to the cross. And yes, there'll be more misunderstanding, there'll be more denial, there'll be events that they have no idea what it all means, and yet they stay. They watch, they follow. That's probably a pretty good model for us too. We don't have to understand it all. We don't have to have it all figured out, and we certainly don't have to be in control. But we follow. Next Sunday begins Holy Week. So much is going to happen, and yet it will be for us a hard thing to quite comprehend. That's okay. We keep following, we keep trusting, and we follow this advice of Paul, forgetting what lies behind, straining forward to what lies ahead. I press on toward the goal for the prize of the heavenly call of God in Christ Jesus. We are disciples.